Welcome to Flavourmag presents Google's Top Black Talent, the show that motivates and inspires black students, graduates and early career professionals by showcasing role models who give tips and advice about their careers. In today's show, we're going to find out what it takes to have a successful sales career, and we're also going to find out how you can develop your personal brand. Our audience today is also made up of our Top Black Talent attendees that applied for our Careers Insight Day, so give yourselves a cheer for being here. To celebrate the final show, we also have a performance by talented music artist Mr. Silver. So that's up later, but in the meantime, make sure you're at Top Black Talent and plus Top Black Talent on Google+, and on Twitter using the hashtag TBT Hangout. And you can also go to topblacktalent.com and you can submit your questions for our audience and panelists today. So now let's meet Google's Director of Search Advertising, Adrian Joseph. Welcome, Adrian. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here. And talk us through your role here at Google.
So I head up the search advertising team. Search is our biggest part of our business. It's where we help advertisers to show their products and services on the search paid results. So if you went in and did a Google search for flights, you'd see people advertising their services at the top and down the side of the page. So my job is to help advertisers and agencies understand the opportunity to get visibility for their brands, their products, their services, to help our sales teams ensure that they're able to sell effectively. And my job is also to listen to customers and then feed that back into the product team so that we build even better products to meet the needs of our advertisers and our agencies.
Sounds like a very interesting role. So, I mean, why did you start to work here at Google?
Well, I actually wasn't looking at Google. I got a call from a headhunter who said, that they were representing Google. Would I be interested in a job? And I said, well, I love the brand, but I have no idea what I would do for you. Anyway, so they gave me some more insight into what they were trying to do. We were setting up vertical teams, so that's industry-focused teams to ensure that we had the right people in the automotive industry speaking to the right people in the car manufacturers and so on. And so that was the context in which I was approached, and I knew a lot of people in the business and asked them for their advice and their thoughts about whether this would be a good job to do. And everybody that I spoke to said, this is probably the best job in the auto business right now. And I had two offers at the time, one from Nokia and one from Google. So I said to my son, which should I take? He said, Dad, Google's so cool, you just got to do it. So that's what I did.
So your son was right.
My son was right, yeah. 7.5 years later, I'm still here.
So how did you know this was the area that you wanted to work in?
Well, I think through that process of looking at what Google were trying to achieve, checking that I felt that I could bring something of value, to the company, and ensuring also that the culture of the business was the thing that worked for me as well. And I think that's a really important part of why I've been here for. I mean, Google's 15 years old, and it's scary to think that I've been here for half of the life of Google. But the reason that's happened is because there's been a really good match between my skills, but also a really good match between the culture of Google and how I think and my philosophy on life.
So you mentioned the culture there, but what's the best thing about working at Google?
The randomness of it. I mean, it's just no day is the same. I might be traveling, I might be doing an event like this, I may be mentoring, some young black person. I might be, in front of a client talking about how they can get the most out of the web. So it's just so random.
And what skills do you require to do your role?
So I think, the skills that are required to be effective in sales more broadly are, real understanding of the customer. So, and in some cases you need to understand the customer of the customer even better than the customer does. That sounds really convoluted, doesn't it? Hopefully, I see a few nodding faces, so I think hopefully people understood what I just said. So customer insights really important, relationship management skills really important, EQ as well as IQ. Being able to run the numbers, to think creatively, to connect with people, And I think one other thing that people don't talk about that much is resilience. You're in sales, you're going to be told no a lot of the time, and being able to recover from that and not take it personally, and learn from that and build on that. So resilience, I would say, is a key feature.
Definitely. I mean, why is diversity so important in a workforce to you?
So if I think about Google we have this modest ambition to make all of the world's information universally accessible and useful. The only way in which we can do that is by reflecting our users in our business. And so, we need to ensure that we're reflecting all aspects of diversity in our business to be successful. We also know that we make better decisions if we have more diverse teams. And we also think that we're more profitable. There's a lot of research that suggests that if you have a more diverse team, you get a better return on investment. So it's the right thing to do, for sure, but it's the right thing to do for the business. And I think that's an important point to understand.
Fantastic. So my last question for you is, what's your proudest achievement so far?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Where do I start? I'm glad that you laughed at that. It was intended as a joke. Thank you. But I think, there's sort of personal ones. So I left school, with 4 O-levels at C grade. O-levels are like GCSEs, but things that we did like many, many years ago. And I wanted to get into the real world. I wanted to work, so I did that. I then, became self-employed, did that for 2.5 years. But then the economy went down, and I had, no business, and I had no sort of safety net, no insurance policy. And so I got back into education, and sort of 8 years later, I'd graduated from one of the top business schools and done that with distinction. But to do that, I didn't get a grant. I had to fund myself through university. I left with about £30,000 of debt at the end of my MBA. But I also got into sport and got a black belt in judo. So I'm proud of having moved from the point of having virtually no educational qualifications to this having a very good foundation there. But I'm actually more proud, I think, of some of the work that I do to help young people who, in many cases, are a lot more talented than I am. And by mentoring them, by coaching them, and helping them to achieve their goals and their aspirations, because I say there are many more talented people than I am who deserve the sort of chance that I've had, and so working with young people like that is what really motivates me.
Well, what a fantastic insight into your life here at Google and your journey. Thank you for joining us, Adrian.
Thank you, Annika. Thank you.
Now it's time to meet some of our other sales leaders. If you can please all introduce yourself from right to left, and we'll start with you, Nick.
Sure, I'm Nick Smith. I work as a VP Format Sales for All3 Media. All3 Media is the largest independent TV producer in the UK. And if you go abroad and switch on the TV and you see an All3 Media show like The Cube in Spanish or Arabic or Italian, then I might have sold it to them.
Hi, my name's Clive Davis. I've previously worked for British American Media and also the Fernley Group, and we sold bus advertising that you'd see on the side of major large double-deckers. I'm currently working on a new project with my business partner Jason Bartlett called Parallel Revenue, and that'll be coming out in 2014.
I'm Mike Barclay. I'm a sales director for an American software company called Pluck. We inject social tools into e-commerce websites, work with big brands, big retail brands, and big proprietary brands like automotive. We put all the social tools within those websites.
I'm Kelly Richards, and I'm Business Development Manager at JC&Co, who are the world's largest outdoor advertising company. So I basically plan and sell advertising campaigns on billboards, trains, various different media that you see on your day-to-day journey.
So Mike, why should people consider sales as a career option?
Well, it really is a career. There's an old saying which says that production without sales is scrap, i.e. if you produce something you can't sell it, then what's the point? So people are always going to want to be able to move their products and services on. So there's always going to be a need for salespeople. When the market's good, they need salespeople. When the market's bad, people need salespeople. So there's a real career in it. It's a great place because it's very visible. So your results, you're paid by your results, and we can see your results. They can see who's the best and who isn't, which means that you've got a good chance of actually moving up within your career as well. So it gives you that career path. And, you know, it's competitive and there's good commissions to earn it. So if you like to earn money, career is a good place to be.
So you mentioned money and commission there. I mean, also when you start a sales career, sometimes you have kind of, I guess, basic salary, and sometimes that has to be negotiated, and that can be very daunting. So what advice can you give Nick on kind of doing that, negotiating a good salary in sales?
I don't think I've quite cracked that yet because I'm not a millionaire, but I would say you've got to know your worth. You've got to know what you're prepared to work for. You need to pick a good time, I think, to have a salary discussion with the boss. Probably a good time to do that is after you've just done something well for the company. Maybe you've made the company a lot of money. And when the boss is in a good mood as well, because that always helps. I think that would probably be my top tips, yeah.
And before applying for a sales job, Kelly, is there any particular questions that you should ask yourself?
I think one of the most important things to think about is your business acumen and, you know, how self-motivated you are. Sales is a very self-motivated type of industry. The other thing to bear in mind as well is how well your personal attributes fit into that product. I think having passion and an interest in what you're actually selling goes a long way in any sales career.
Clive, what's the biggest misconception you think people have about working in sales?
I think probably one of the biggest misconceptions people have is that they sort of think sales is some sort of magical gift that people are given. And I mean, I've met some salespeople where that probably is true, but if you go to an audition or you go to an interview, you're selling yourself. And whether you have a product or a service that you're selling, if you're good with people, you're confident in what you're doing, then you can learn sales, and it's something that can be taught. So there's no magic about it. It just takes a lot of hard work and being confident.
And Kelly, as a woman and as a mother working in sales, how do you find the kind of whole work-home life balance?
Well, I'm quite lucky in that I have a lot of autonomy in my diary in my role, so that means that I can plan my day and kind of structure it around what I need to do at home. But for me, with the benefits being so high, it's actually quite a good opportunity for women who are in perhaps a similar situation to myself, where you can kind of still earn quite a high amount of money if you perform well, and still have enough time to kind of sort of raise your children and keep home if you like. So for me, it works very well. But yeah, again, I've been quite lucky in that respect. So.
And Clive, do you think that you have to go to university to have a successful sales career?
I think first and foremost, sort of making sure that you've been and got a very good education is going to give you options moving forward, regardless of whatever you're doing. But in sales, it's one of those things where if you work hard, like I said, and you've got the numbers don't lie, you put the numbers up and you work hard and you'll get your rewards. And it's sort of a saying that they have is that if you in sales you don't sort of get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate, and that sort of goes back to one of your sort of previous questions, really.
And Mike, so dealing with clients, what's the best way kind of in a sales role that you deal with clients and handle clients and kind of generate kind of new business?
Well, I mean, there are lots of different types of selling. So there's some very direct selling whereby you're literally in and out trying to get a deal straight away. Our sales is a much longer negotiating period. But I think one of the misconceptions about sales is about the gift of the gab. It's what you say. But it's questions you ask, but it's how well you listen and respond to those questions. That's the difference between the kind of person who could be banging away trying to sort of get their number and probably not succeed in themselves very long, or a person who can really develop a career and see themselves moving forward. So it's that consultative approach that makes a big difference.
Fantastic. So I want just you to all say one word or a sentence that you think that our audience should take away with them today in terms of having a successful sales career. What do you think they should think about kind of when applying for a sales role? So Nick, we'll start with you. Just a tip and advice that you think they should take away with them.
I think it's all about building relationships, friendships.
Clive?
Probably took my word. I'd say confidence, not being scared to put yourself out there and put yourself in an awkward situation.
It's about persistence. Persistence overcomes resistance.
Kelly?
Always try to be memorable. You know, especially if somebody's asking you in for an interview, you're supposed to be there, and there's a reason why they've asked you to go. So just try and be memorable and try and stand out from the crowd. That's both with dealing with clients if you're in a sales role, and also when you're trying to apply for that sales position.
Fantastic. So a sales role will be the first job for many graduates, so I hope you found their advice useful. Thank you for being here, guys. And next up, we're going to have personal branding with Bianca Miller. In this current climate, many employers use social media tools and systems for recruiting positions. And if you're an avid user of social networks, your entire personal life now factors into your employability. And just like a branded product, your basic worth is assessed. Bianca Miller from the B Group is here to give you some tips on the brand called You.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bianca Miller, Managing Director of the B Group. Before starting my business, I worked for the world's largest management and technology consultancy firm for approximately 412.5 days before deciding to leave my career and follow my passion. I now advise individuals such as yourselves on how to build a good personal brand that will help you in your career aspirations or if you want to be entrepreneurial. So today we're going to talk about what personal branding is. So personal branding is the practice of marketing yourself and your career as a brand. And self-packaging of this nature can lead to career advancement. Guy Kawasaki once said, brands are built on what people are saying about you, not what you're saying about yourself. In other words, what do people say about you when you leave the room? Does anyone know what the people say about you when you leave the room? Is it good things? You want to start thinking about whether it's the good things that they're saying. So personal branding, sensorial attributes such as how you look, what you sound like, rational appeal, such as your skills, education, and experience, and also your emotional appeal. So how do you make people feel when they're around you? What sort of legacy do you leave them with? So I want you to think about how you want to be perceived. So when you're speaking to individuals, when you're going to that job interview, when you're speaking to your peers or potential clients, how do you want to be perceived? What do you want them to think about you? And what's the lasting legacy that you want to leave them with? So I think it's really important to break personal branding up into 4 clear key attributes. I like to call it PACE. So are you keeping up the pace? So P is for presentation. So you get 7 seconds to make a first impression. And that impression is largely based on how you look. So it's how you dress, it's what you say, it's how you say it, and it's also your personal grooming. So A is for approach. So your target audience, who are they? If you're going for a job interview, do you know who's interviewing you? Do you know about the company? What's your body language like? So are you giving them appropriate level of eye contact? Are you giving them a good firm handshake? Is your posture good? Are you smiling? You know, smiles open up the channel of communication in any language. So when you smile at someone, they feel that warmth and they feel that they can talk to you. Communication. So how many of you on LinkedIn? Okay, so we've got quite a good, for everyone watching at home, we've got a good majority there. So quite a lot of people on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is like the professional version of Facebook. So it's a prime piece of internet real estate. You can put your name on there and a headline. So if you're looking for a job, you might say what sort of job you're looking for. And that will give you an opportunity to come up in search results. So if someone's looking for a graduate who's interested in marketing, they type it into LinkedIn and you come up. It's giving you more opportunities. Have a professional online image. Remember, 7 seconds to make a first impression. Use keywords and call to action verbs. So read my blog, or try this, or contact me, just to encourage people to interact. And when you meet new people, add them within 24 hours of meeting them on LinkedIn. Same for Twitter. If you're using Twitter, you can absolutely use that to find a job. So just realize that Twitter is part of your personal brand. If it's out there, people can look at it. So make sure you're showing them the right version of you. Facebook, again, not just for personal use. So if you've got some nice pictures of you staggering out on a night out on a Friday, then it's probably not what you want an employer to see, then maybe it shouldn't be on Facebook. Or maybe you should have a professional Facebook that you're happy for everyone to see. They want to see that you're normal as well, but they want to see a professional side. When you're on the telephone, make sure you're smiling on the phone. It makes all the difference. You know, when you speak to people, often I speak to young people on the phone, they sound like they're really desperately unhappy. And that's because they're not smiling when on the phone, okay? So when you're smiling, again, it helps people to communicate with you and understand you. And I always say, do something a bit different. You're here at Google, use YouTube. Use YouTube for your CV. You know, everyone's used to seeing the standard online page CV, but why not do something different and create a good CV online so people can get to know you by video, yeah? And obviously a Google alert. I would always set up a Google alert on my name to make sure you know what's out there in the world of the internet and you can see what's happening. And lastly, E is for expertise or experience. So if you've had a job and you've got some experience and some knowledge in a particular sector, use that. Use that and tell people about the experience you've had and how you can use it. That's all part of your personal PR and starting your personal brand and becoming an expert in your niche. So 75% of roles are filled within networks and never publicly advertised. So that means that your network is really key to your success. So a few final tips on how to sync your brand. Obviously, I'm not telling you to sync your brand, I'm telling you how not to sync it. So remember, don't neglect consistency. It's really important that you illustrate a consistent version of yourself across all the different brand mediums. Be authentic. Everyone likes someone who is their self and is very honest about who they are and what they can offer. Have a professional online image. So, people want to know who you are when they meet you. They want to be able to recognize you as well. So some of those photos in those photo studios, if they're not going to know who you are when they meet you in real life, not so good. And being unresponsive. If someone comes to you and they email you or they go to you on LinkedIn, make sure that you're responding within 24 hours, 48 hours, so that they know that you're there. Even if it's a holding email saying, thank you for your email, I'm going to get back to you. It's really important that you continue to respond within a good period of time. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Celebrate the final episode of Google Top Black Talent, we have a performance by an amazing Afrobeats artist called Mr. Silver. So I want you all to stand, I want you all to clap, and I want you all to be cheering and dancing for Mr. Silver.
You enjoying yourself today, yeah? That's good, that's good. I'm gonna kick it off like this. Could I get this track called Now What's Up running right now? Some of you might have heard it. It's been playlisted on Trace FM. So let's go. Okay. Let's go, let's go. She be my fine, fine yellow. Oh, mama, kuma to me, emo. Hey, I am a diamond girl. I am a diamond girl. Oh, oh, oh. I am a diamond girl. 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 Oh, oh, oh. I am a diamond girl. I am a diamond girl. Let's go. Now what's up? Rock my world. Baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. I know you're always here, that I'm blowing up, but under all, you're not showing up. That's what they say there, but trouble love. Dean said you won't find me like this. I'm not saying that I'm so righteous, but you know I give you that divine kiss, and your heart strip. I will never trick me, leave you. Nah, that's a myth. You I go marry, yeah, and same to make I and you won't dare. Same with him saying I want me pay. Brought me chain that and yeah, fair. You day my mind, my soul, yeah, and my flesh. Number one, the first time we met, more feelings. It be my interest. It be you now, yeah, I go bless. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Dance like this, baby girl, then change your style, change your style, dance like that. Baby girl, then change your style, change your style.
Change your style, change your style.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, but they make me go so cool. Be my 5-star model. Be like say yeah, I win the lotto. You're sweet like cocoa. They my eyesight, I'm like oh. Too damn fine from the top to the bottom. I go show you same, show you same. I go show you same, show you same. She be my fine, fine yellow. Oh mama, come to me, emo. Hey, I am a diamond girl. I am a diamond girl. Oh oh oh. I am a diamond girl. I am a diamond girl. I am a diamond girl, oh oh oh. I am a diamond girl, I am a diamond girl. Now what's up?
Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world.
Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up?
Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my
Let's go
world.
now, what's up?
Rock my
Let's go
world,
like 1, 2, 3,
baby girl, you rock my world. Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Rock my world,
baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Now what's up? Rock my world, baby girl, you rock my world. Yeah, man. Google, thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it, man.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Appreciate it.
So you've been doing school tours lately. I mean, what's been the best thing about that experience?
I'll say meeting the children, inspiring the children, you know, and educating them about the Afrobeat movement, African movement that's going on in the UK. So that's been the highlight, I'd say, definitely.
And why is education important to you?
Education is important because knowledge is power, and at the same time, with education, you're open to more options, you know, so that's why I say it's very important.
Well, thank you for being here and good luck with your music career.
Thank you very much.
What a way to end our final show. I hope you enjoyed the series. If you've missed an episode, then you can check the episodes back out on topblacktalent.com/hangout. We've had episodes on PR, marketing, engineering, law, and the creative industries. So do make sure you go and check those out. Make sure you continue to follow us at Top Black Talent on Google+, and we're at Top Black Talent on Twitter, Facebook, and also Instagram. Keep checking out the website, topblacktalent.com, for all the latest opportunities right here at Google. And remember to use the hashtag TBT Hangout when speaking about us. Let us know your thoughts on today's show and even the past shows as well. We'd like to thank all our partners that have been with us throughout the series, Slenky, ACS, Rare, and thank you to the team at Google, at Flavourmag, photography, everybody that's been helped out to make this series a success. So you've been a wonderful audience, so give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks to all our panelists today. You were amazing, so I hope you all were inspired and educated and well informed. So thank you and goodbye.
Today was an awesome day. We got insights into what Google is all about. We got insights into our own personal skills and capacity and what we can do in our careers. So today for me was really an awesome day, especially in shaping my career as a graduating student. I'm very excited about today and I'm very excited about the opportunity that Google gave us.
It was both educational and fun-filled and really good. At the end, I'll say I don't regret ever coming here because I've got an opportunity to meet people, not just to meet the people, but to get a lot of knowledge, that could help me in my job searches, my career, pursuing my goals.
Google Top Black Talent was an amazing experience. I've had so much fun today. The speakers were very inspiring and they've achieved so much in their life, and it was also very fun to meet other students, other black students across the UK.